Hi, Aquarius. This is your reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and that this will not resonate for every single Aquarius out there. All right, you guys, let's get started. So a couple of things popped up for me here. I wrote down all the zodiac signs, and then I realized I only had 11 zodiac signs. And I'm like, who am I forgetting? It finally took me a minute, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Aquarius. And then, as I made thumbnails, I did all the thumbnails, and I realized I only had 11, and I was like, wait, who am I forgetting? And I realized it was Aquarius. And I thought, okay, so it kind of feels like a lot of you guys are feeling forgotten lately. Because it's interesting, because I never forget Aquarius. So that's why I'm like, I feel like there was kind of like a message in that. I don't know if some of you guys just kind of feel like you've been forgotten or just kind of left out, but that's kind of the energy that I'm getting a little bit here. Also, keep in mind that this is a timeless reading, so whenever you guys stumble across this reading, that is when you should be hearing these messages. Not everything's going to resonate, so take what does, leave the rest. Let's see here. Aquarius is going So Aquarius, I kind of get this feeling that some of you guys right now you're kind of trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. It kind of feels like a lot of you are trying to see what makes you happy emotionally. It's like you're trying to find some way of fulfillment. It almost feels like this card combo almost gives me the Nine of Cups vibe, where it's like you are looking for emotional fulfillment. And a lot of you guys, I'm also getting, are just kind of, maybe you're feeling scattered a little bit. You feel like there's stuff going on. And I'm also kind of getting just like negative thoughts. It's like you're trying to stay positive, but you keep getting like negative thoughts or negative things keep popping up. A lot of you guys are trying to find something that will make you emotionally happy, but still make you stable in the world. Because you're wanting to, I feel like this could be either a career or something that you want to put out in the world, but you want it to be stable. You want it to be, some of you even wanted it to be like admired. I'm also getting that currently some of you guys are, like I said, just kind of thinking about all of the options, kind of feeling like your mind is going in different directions. I feel like your focus is not necessarily narrowed. It's like you're not trying to aim, it's like you're looking at all of the possibilities more than trying to hit a bullseye, you know? It's like you're not trying to narrow your focus as much as it's more like a broader spectrum of thought. But you're still trying to get very clear about what it is that you want. So I feel like a lot of you guys, you're working on, it's like you're trying to work on bettering yourself in some area of your life. Because a part of you feels like that's going to help you, that that's going to make you feel better. I also just feel like a little bit of an overwhelm feeling. And look, now we have the 9 of potions, or the 9 of cups behind this. Remember I was saying how I kept getting the 9 of cups vibe, but like you're trying to figure out what's making you happy, but then it's in the reverse. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point though, because it's almost like this sense of lack, like you're trying to find it because you don't think you have it. Okay. So we have the Hierophant, the Hanged Man, the Page of Needles, the Page of Presents, the Queen of Presents, and the Page of Candles. And then we have the 6 of Needles. So, Aquarius, I feel like a lot of you are kind of, whether you are realizing this or not, some of you are sabotaging yourself because you're, like when I said that you were focusing on all the possibilities, there are some stuff in those possibilities, like options that kind of catch your eye, but you're afraid to commit to them, or you're afraid to really just explore that area a little further, because I think some of you guys are afraid of actually committing to something. I feel like a lot of you guys are, like, that's what I was thinking, like, you're purposely, like, you're afraid of manifesting, you're afraid of creating something. Because maybe in the past you've tried stuff and it's failed, and maybe it kind of has impacted you more than you would like to have admitted. Maybe you really had your hopes up on something, and when it didn't work out, or when something didn't pan out the way you were hoping, it's like you just have that fear of that failure again, or that sense of failure. Yeah, you can't move forward because you're kind of afraid of the past mistakes, the past hurts of creating something. And it's almost like you feel like it's going to end in that Wheel of Fortune again, like how it did in the past. But a part of you kind of wants to actually, like with that Justice, with that Hierophant, what I'm getting here is it's like you want to be, like, you know how when we look at judges and stuff, like we have to give judges respect and stuff? And stuff. Um, yes. It's like you want to be respected and admired. And that's kind of what I'm getting with that Justice card. It's like you want to be more balanced in life. You want to be looked at in a better way. But there's this part of you that's like afraid of your own potential. And then there's this part of you that doesn't really want to ponder or really evaluate it because of these fears. I've also feel like a lot of you guys have, when you talk about stuff you want to do, like, hey, I want to go out and accomplish this, you might be around people that always tell you, like, oh, and I don't know, they like talk down on you, they discourage you from doing it, or they come up with like a million reasons to why it won't work for you. There's something here where working with other people has always been kind of an issue, or every time you've tried to bring up what it is that you want to do, it causes some kind of rift in like a family setting or in like a relationship, in whether I maybe at work you might say, hey, if we do this, it'll be more efficient. And then people could get upset with you and say, you don't know what you're talking about. And then they might even take that idea and then use it. And then they take the recognition. So some of you guys might want justice in that sense, because sometimes people take your advice, or they steal your ideas, or, it feels like there's that sense too. But I'm also getting that a lot of you guys, we have 3 pages and 1 queen on the board. And I feel like a lot of you here are like, you're all in the reverse too. That's the part that kind of, it's like you're so afraid to start something. Because you say to yourself, well, what if I get it? Like, this is what I think I want to do. What if I go after it, but it stops me? Because whatever has happened here in the past is keeping you guys stuck from really going forward, because you are still emotionally invested in what has occurred in that past. Of the loss, or of maybe the I told you so's. And all of these other things that, because I feel like you could have had people discourage you, and then if you failed, they would have been like, yeah, see, I told you you would have failed, and you should have listened to me to begin with. You wouldn't have wasted your time. Like, they were being... I feel like a lot of you guys feel like you have ideas, and there's a lot of possibilities. But again, with that tower, again, it's just everything feels like it keeps going back to like one specific event, or two times where it was like maybe you kept trying, and then that's almost like it doubled down that belief. Where it's like maybe you say you tried a business and that business failed, and then you're like, okay, that one didn't work out, but maybe this one will, and then you try another one and then that failed. So it's like it just double confirmed that belief that you were going to fail. And the issue that you have is you're coming off as this page of presents, but you could become this queen of presents. I kind of feel like this is what you're wanting to become, because I feel like a lot of you think you know what it is that's going to make you happy, but it's like a lot of my Aquarius is you're trying to heal and work through whatever has hurt you and affected you in the past. But it's scary to you, because with that page of candles, it's almost like you're trying to find your place in the world. And it's scary because it's like no matter, like, you almost feel so directionless. Like you don't know where you're going. You're just like wandering. And you're like, well, I'm just gonna go out there and try and figure out my life. And it's like, it's almost jarring. It kind of scares you guys. Because about this past event. It's like you can't get over what has happened. And I'm kind of getting this feeling too, like the people that you're around, this feels like heavy family to me, kind of like family members or like close friends, somebody close to you. That's kind of what I'm getting here with this, especially with that 3 of Pentacles here. It feels like it's somebody very close to you. You do... think highly of them, or you want to get approval from them in some way. And so that's another issue that you are dealing with. Because it just feels like you're dragging your feet. It's like you are dragging your feet towards potential. You're afraid of accomplishing something because it's like you want to, and there's this deep desire to, and it's like this frustration because it's like, well, why can't I do this, you know? And it's only because I think that you've somehow been around enough people as a child or just growing up where you've seen people fail. Or if anytime you failed or anytime it is perceived as a loss, it was like you could have gotten in trouble for it, you could have got yelled for it, or there's just this deep-seated sense of shame, you know? And I feel like it's self-sabotaging because you want to be successful. And it drives you insane because you're not successful. But you want to be. And I feel like you're also not giving yourself you're impatient with it because maybe you feel like you've been patient. Let's see here. We have the 8 of Pentacles, the 7 of Needles, the 7 of Presents, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Potions, and then the 10 of Presents. Yeah, see, something about your home, and even could be where you're living right now, even for some of you. It just feels like there's tension. This feels like a family thing for me. Again, with that 6 of Swords, I just feel like it's the perception that you have. Because, like, oftentimes when I think about the 6 of Swords, I always kind of find that card interesting because they're on a boat in the middle of water, which is, water signifies your emotions. And I feel like to have the swords stabbed into the boat indicates to me that it's a sinking ship. It's telling me that a lot of you guys feel like it doesn't matter what you do. It's like a money pit, or there's something where you're just going to consistently sink. It's like you feel like you're going to just tank it, and you're emotionally, it's like your emotions towards that belief is so strong that that's where that resistance is, because there has been either trauma there, or has been where, like I said, it almost kind of feels like you're afraid to work towards it, to make the necessary steps, because it's like you tell yourself lies that aren't even true. So we have the 7 of Needles with the 7 of Swords. So basically it's the 7 of Swords twice. One in the upright, one in the reverse. That's what I'm telling you. It's like you're telling yourself a lie that's not even true, but you believe it to be true because you have created your own evidence of it, because the brain just does this. When we focus in on a belief, the brain will filter out anything else that goes against that belief. And I just keep getting this, like, you have this unrealistic expectation, and that's kind of what I'm feeling with this card. It's almost like you think that it should be easier, that if it is right for me, I shouldn't have this many hangups or this many problems, or it should go smoother for me. So I guess I'm not on the right path. That's actually not true. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting with this a little bit too, especially with that magician. Like maybe I need to stop because clearly it's rough for me to do it, meaning that perhaps it's not meant for me. Because sometimes in the spiritual community, or just sometimes in general, people do this where it's like, oh, this something went bad, and then another thing went bad, and then another thing went bad, and it all had to tie into this one situation. So maybe it's not meant for me, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we just have roadblocks so that we can learn and surpass them. It's like you have to go over the hill to go to the next hill to get to your destination. So sometimes you're going to have your ups and downs, and it's just like, that's the process. But I feel like some of you guys, when things go wrong or when things get a little difficult, you think to yourself, okay, well, maybe it's, I kind of imagined it to be easier than it is. But it's also because you have all these emotions and all these like unresolved issues. So a lot of bad stuff or a lot of things do keep coming up so that you can look at it. And that happens a lot. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like you need to kind of go within and realize like, where in my life am I giving up too quickly on a passion of mine or an idea of mine because I'm afraid that I actually have to kind of like heal that, because it's scary to have to heal it, but then to also have to go through the fears that of being judged or being or failing again, or going through all these. It's like rough terrain. You don't know all of the pitfalls. You don't know what could happen if you did pursue this. It's like kind of scary to do that. It's like you have all these ideas of what could go wrong instead of what could go right. I feel like a lot of you guys, you are trying to find ways to, and I'm also just getting as well as it's like, some of you are afraid to put all of your eggs in one basket. So it's like so what you do is you take one egg and you put it in a different basket. You take another egg and you put it in a different basket. And that's what I'm getting with that 7. It's like the 7 of Pentacles with that 7 of Cups. It's almost like you are spreading yourself too thin by putting your energy in different areas. And you need to ground it back, because here's the thing. You have a lot of passions that you might want to do. There's a lot of enthusiasm that you want to kind of go out and do something. You want to accomplish something. There's something that you actually enjoy that you really want to put a lot of effort into. But when I think of the Empress is one of the most favorable cards in the deck, because not only is she an amazing manifester, but also the ideas come to life with her. She's able to envision it, create it, and now there's living proof of it. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, that's kind of where you're trying to go with. But with her, it's like you have to think she doesn't separate her energy all in one go. What she does is she stays in the present moment of what is the most important. So what she does is it's almost like she categorizes what is the most important to the least important. And then she focuses on the main 3. And so instead of separating all 7 eggs into 7 different baskets, she'll put 2 or 3 into one basket and 2 and 3 into another basket. And so what happens is they start to multiply, because the more that you focus on that area, the more it's going to grow and expand. But if you have it all in different baskets, then one part's going to fall through, another one's going to fall through, because there's not enough invested in it. There's not enough energy there to sustain it, to create it, to be focused on. So where your focus goes, your energy flows. So where is it where you are allowing your thoughts or your opinions or your feelings to run rampant in you? Because I feel like that's kind of what this is leading me to, is it's like you need to learn to kind of narrow that down a little bit. You know, instead of having 7 different things you're doing, narrow it down to 3 or 2, but focus in on those 2 things and nurture them. And then they'll grow, and then they'll expand, and then you can focus on a different avenue or a different thing. But in order to get where you want to go, I'm feeling like you have to be more going with that flow, going in that direction. I'm also getting this like fear of missing an opportunity. Like you have this fear that, well, what if I take my time, or what if this doesn't happen? What if I miss my opportunity? And it's like we can miss opportunities, but it's who was it? I always want to give credit to Aristotle, but it's not. It's Seneca. Seneca said, luck is opportunity. Preparation meets opportunity. That is luck. That's when you catch that break. It's because you were preparing for it and that opportunity came and you took it. And I feel like some of you guys, you're so afraid that you're going to miss an opportunity, but you need to prepare for that opportunity. You can't just stand there and say, okay, universe, give me this opportunity. I'm afraid I'm going to miss it, and I'm going to try not to miss it. So throw it to me, throw the ball to me. But it's like you haven't trained for it. You don't even know what you're looking for yet because you're not focused in. And so see, when you start to get narrowed in, especially with that Knight of Swords, sometimes you might want to rush into things. Oh, this looks like a good opportunity. You rush in and you're like, it wasn't my opportunity, or it wasn't what I was hoping or what I was expecting. And it's because you need to understand that there's always opportunities around us all the time, but not every opportunity that comes your way is your opportunity. So I feel like some of you guys need to get serious in your mind and say, okay, this is what I want, so I'm going to look out for opportunities in this area. But while in the meantime, I'm going to consistently build up and focus on preparing myself to meet that opportunity. Because I feel like a lot of you guys, you have good ideas, you have the drive, you have what it takes to create whatever this is you want, but you have a lot of self-doubt in yourself. You second guess yourself a lot. You don't fully trust yourself. And I'm also getting that for some of you guys, it's like you're just kind of, some of you have maybe had stuff taken from you in your life that now you're like paranoid to allow somebody else to steal your joy again or to steal something from you. So it's like, I'm getting, because sometimes the Emperor can become very paranoid when it's in the reverse because he's always has to watch his back. You know, people are always plotting. And I feel like for some of you guys, maybe you're afraid that that could be a possibility. And you're also just afraid of like your own real potential, your own real power in a situation. Because then if you realize I am in control and in charge of my life, that's a lot to hold. That's a lot of responsibility, you know? And I'm also just getting here, you also might be afraid of starting conflict in your environment or in your family life, because it's like you've been trying your hardest here, Aquarius, to keep this balanced, to keep yourself from causing conflict in your family or in this situation. And I feel like it would if you were to go after whatever this is you want, or you're just afraid that you're going to have to fight with people because it's like you feel like you have to defend what it is that you want to do. Because some people might see that it's unnecessary or that it's unrealistic to have that or to want that or to do that. So I feel like you have to always constantly defend yourself. And it's like a part of you, that's another issue, is it's like you're so afraid of You're so afraid of it not working out. Because it's like, what if I do succeed? What will my family or what will those people think about me too? So it's like, if you fail, then it's like, it's almost safer in your mind because you don't know what would happen if you did succeed. Like, a part of you wants to succeed, obviously, but there's still this piece of you that's like, maybe you're afraid of getting kicked out of a situation, or you're afraid of being abandoned because maybe if you go after this, you feel like some people will disapprove of you and they'll leave you or they'll leave your life. We have the Three of Presents. There we go. The Knight of Candles. The Two of Potions. The Three of Potions. And the 10 of Needles. And then the Ace of Candles. So here we go again with that Three of Pentacles, or the Three of Presents. I feel like this person or group of people, I think you compromise too much with them because I feel like they get away with a lot. See here, we have family life. I feel like this is family, you guys. 10 of Pentacles. Or a living situation. You know, this could be roommates. You never know. But it feels like family. This, with especially when it feels like you've... Yeah. A lot of conflict. A lot of worry. And it feels like you maybe you try to be the peacekeeper here, Aquarius. And you compromise too much of yourself with these people. I'm also getting that they don't really respect you. And you feel that energy. You feel the energy of disrespect. And we have that Three of Pentacles again here, you guys. They say things that hurt you. And I feel like it's like this person or these people in your family, you know, because they can be like one or two that could kind of do this. Just go back. That's what I'm saying with that Emperor. It's almost like that Emperor is paranoid. Like, they're talking behind my back, or they're plotting behind my back, or I know, because maybe you have siblings that say, hey, you know, this is what so-and-so said, or hey, this is what this person did. And it's like, now it's making you kind of wonder, because I feel like there could be gossip, there could be fighting, there can be backstabbing in your family or in this situation. And it leaves you kind of feeling unstable, ungrounded, because it's like, if you don't feel safe in your own home, even as a child and all the way up till now, you're not going to feel safe in the world. You're not going to feel safe going out and really expressing yourself. And I feel like you moved, if some of you guys, you know, you could have actually moved away from this situation, but the thoughts, the feelings, and the people might still be in your life, and it still lingers. And then you get overwhelmed with all of these options, and you feel like you constantly have to defend yourself. And a lot of it has to do with your past and how you perceived it. And it always felt like no matter how much you try to keep the peace, or how much you try to compromise, it always leaves them getting more, or you feeling like you've been cheated out of something. This is deep, you guys. I feel like this is one of the reasons why you're not manifesting stuff in your life. Because it's like you give this person too much. And I feel like you guys are coming to that awareness anyway inside yourself. Like, you are already kind of aware of how you're feeling in this situation. But you still kind of allowed them to call the shots. And then it's like you just kind of allow them. It's like you just almost like let them have it. You just allow them to just, I'm right. Okay, you're right. Yep, you're right. You know, it's like to keep the peace, you kind of sacrifice this part of yourself, or you just allow it to continue. And it's like you're consistently causing this person and you to keep playing this game. It's like you're gambling. It's like spin the wheel. Oh, you lost out again this time, Aquarius. Try again next time, you might get something. You know, that's like enough for you to keep going. It's like wanting that approval or wanting something, and it's like every time you spin that wheel on the karma wheel with this person, it's like, what am I going to get? Because sometimes you have good times with this person or these people, and sometimes you have really bad times. And it's like, you never know what you're going to get. And I feel like that's kind of what happens with you. It's like, you either have a lot of money or you don't have a lot of money. Like, you lose it or you gain it, you know? It's weird. It's like you guys have a weird fluctuation with money, too. But you always try to... You're trying to win in this situation by letting go of the pain and moving forward and trying to be more stable, but at the same time, there's this piece of you that wants this justice. There's this piece of you that wants to almost be successful just to rub it in that person's face because you want to prove to them that they are wrong for the things that they said. And you're coming at it more of an ego-based way. See, like I said, perfection. It's like you have an image in your mind. This is what it needs to be in order for me to become successful. Like, I have to do A, B, C, D. But really, in reality, we can set an idea of what we want to go and where we're going to and how we're going to get there. But sometimes the universe has other plans for us, and what we believe is the best approach or the best avenue to get to this goal or to get to the success is actually one of the hardest and unnecessary, because our ego gets involved, or our perception. And the ego's not bad, but when you're wounded, or when your pride, or when your pride gets hurt, or when you feel some kind of animosity towards another person, you can have that tendency of falling victim to traps, to not getting what it is that you want. And I mean, I can definitely vouch for this, because I know that's kind of how I started my healing journey, was kind of in this energy of, I want to prove myself. And I feel like that has definitely led me down a quest. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening for you guys as well, is it's like you guys are now going to discover and resolve parts of yourself that no longer cares for this person's approval, or no longer cares about what people are going to say. It's like you're going to just give yourself your own justice by letting go of the need to have to prove this person wrong or to get an apology from this person. It's like, do what's best for you and not so much this person. Because I feel like you're operating more from a wounded place when you try to manifest things, and that's why it just never seems to go in your favor, because you need to balance out that unresolved part of yourself. And I feel like with that isolation, I'm getting this sense that you need to take time out for yourself in a quiet place so that you can grieve, that you can process the feelings that you have towards this person, because I think they make you feel insecure. And they play on those insecurities, but there's growth behind the lesson. There's growth behind letting it go by crying, by feeling it, by allowing it to be there, like having that acceptance of your negative emotions is what's going to get you to that place. Because I feel like for some of you guys, you've been around people that they have a specific way of how they want people to look at them and how they want people to perceive the family or the outside view of things. And you kind of want to go out of that norm. And so this person's getting frustrated with you. But if you follow what is right for you and not what other people want you to do, that's when you're going to find your abundance. So by staying stuck in this energy of I need to prove myself, it's almost like you're doing yourself a disfavor, because you have a much more to offer than what you realize. And when you allow other people to convince you that you can't accomplish what you want, or when you allow the opinions or the fear that other people have to become your fear. Because I feel like this person projects a lot of fear onto you. And it's not even your fear, but because you grew up with it or because you've been around it, you could have accepted that as your own. Sometimes our own scars, like the scars that we have, are not even our own. Sometimes it's our parents. Sometimes it's societies, the collective, your ancestral line. There's so many ways to how you can get phobias, how you can get habits. So just keep in mind, when we are healing, when we're going through it, it's not to blame other people for our problems or to blame the external sources. It's knowing that this is inside of me. These feelings are here. How can I heal it? How can I move forward? It's just knowing that sometimes life can have its moments of ups and downs and unfairness, but it's how you come at the problem, it's how you perceive the issue that's going to make the difference. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, getting out of that headspace of that fear or that insecurities, even though that's hard, because again, it's like the only way that you can shift that is by feeling it and by, energy can't be created nor destroyed. And I feel like you are having to learn to transmute that by using your own matter and your own energy to change what is already within you. So when you change a channel, you're changing a frequency. And so when you cry out an emotion, you're changing that emotion, you're changing that frequency. And so the more you do energy work, the more you do shadow work, the more you heal yourself, all you're doing is you're just changing that frequency to a much higher frequency, which will ultimately bring you healing and bring you a different perspective. So I feel like a lot of you guys, it's been frustrating for you, but I feel like you're getting to where you want to go. But you got to stop focusing on that past. The past hurts, unless it's to heal it and to move past it and never look back, because I feel like, again, oh my gosh, you guys, we have that 10 of presents and then the 10 of pentacles again. So a part of you has this potential. Oh, I didn't even realize I grabbed that many cards. To move forward, to balance out things in your own life. You don't need other people. You don't need that person's approval in order to get your own approval. And I feel like you're having to learn that everything that you want or need is already inside of you. But also carrying around this sense of, I come from a broken home, or that I've come from an abusive environment, has really impacted and shaped the way that you have your self-esteem, how you view yourself, how you view your capabilities. And you're having to learn to almost reparent yourself here, Aquarius, to where you can become stronger. Because in your home life, you're seeing the judgment. You're seeing what your part is, what other people's part is. You're gaining that clarity. I feel like a lot of you guys are kind of wanting to move forward from that, but you are capable of learning the lessons that you need to learn. Grow and focus on what it is that you want to focus on to accumulate more of. Because just because you came from a broken home doesn't mean that you can't have a good home, that you can't make your own amazing environment in the future, in yourself, in your family, in your own family, So I feel like you guys are going to balance out things, work things through. But in that past, I feel like a lot of it has to do with this person putting you down. And see, we have justice here. When you allow yourself to heal this, that's when you're going to get the justice. That's when you're going to get what you deserve. Because I feel like you're not seeing that even though this person might never change, they might never apologize, they might never give you what it is that you really deserve, especially because they can't give it to you. Even if they did apologize, even if this person did come forward, even if they did change, the fact of the matter is, Aquarius, your feelings are still there. And they're still impacting you. They're still affecting you. Hearing this person apologizing isn't going to get rid of those feelings or that trauma or that event. So it's like you have to be the one to go in there and heal that and clear that energy in yourself. And I feel like once you do that, that's when you're going to find that justice, because justice kept coming up in the upright like 4 times in this reading, you guys. So that's really significant. I feel like you guys will get what it is that you want, but you first have to be real and honest with yourself about these feelings, which are not easy to address, but I feel like you can definitely create whatever it is that you're envisioning in your mind. But you just have to be able to release this past pain and release what this person has taught you about your career or taught you about yourself. This person really could have lowered your self-esteem and lowered your self-worth. And because of that, it was just really hard for you to move forward. So yeah, you need to grieve. Don't allow guilt, because that's what I was saying, just guilt, toxic shame, completion, and perception. I feel like you guys are changing your perception. You guys needing to grieve, let go of the guilt, the grief, the sadness, the anger. And once you do that, it's going to all come to a completion, and you're going to be able to accomplish and go after the goals and become more successful in your life. So that's what I have for my Aquariuses. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope this helps you. Have a great and wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.